Space Shuttle, this is flight safety. Keep your hands on the handrail or inside the vehicle and remain seated while in motion. You are clear for launch. Have a great flight to Starport 75.
Hey, Glenn.
Hey, Chris. How are you?
So subdued this time. Is it because we haven't chatted in a while? We're like, how does this work?
It is, well, that's part of it, but another part is I'm going through a little mourning period.
Well, it's the evening, but
nice.
Dad jokes. I got dad jokes.
Yeah.
What are you mourning?
Because we can't have our Coke Corner anymore.
I know. Oh, I should have prepared for tonight.
Right?
All right. Well, tell the folks why we can't do Coke Corner anymore.
Because they are discontinuing all the Coke energy drinks after just a year.
It's ridiculous. I thought for sure just you buying it was keeping that.
I think, Chris, I think that was a problem.
I think. Oh, maybe. No, but I figured somebody had some spreadsheet somewhere like, I don't know why, but Louisiana, this thing is popular.
Right. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, you texted me that, and I think my response was, I'm going to hoard those like Elaine hoarded sponges.
That's right.
And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then you're probably too young. But you can go look it up. Go do the Google. Yeah, I know. That's sad.
It is.
But, other than that, I'm feeling like it's almost like a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
Right?
It feels a little optimistic. It feels good.
Why is
know
that?
Why? Well,
why?
You know why. Things
I
are
know
changing.
why.
Things are turning a corner.
Of course.
It's like I don't know. It's like we're finally getting to the turnstiles, right? We've gone through security checkpoints and whatever, and now we're maybe finally get into a normal park maybe someday soon. Right? So what's happened recently? Why you got all the news? What's going on on the COVID front at the parks?
So we are recording this on May 20th, and just last week, I think exactly a week ago, the CDC said, "Hey, anybody who's fully vaccinated doesn't have to worry about wearing a mask." And then dominoes fell. And so Disney, for like a day or two, they didn't do anything. They're like, okay, we're still going to see what's going on. And then, but the first thing they did was they said, okay, we're going to drop the 6-foot social distancing rule, drop it down to 3 feet. Everybody still has to wear masks, but we're also going to increase capacity. So that was the first thing that was announced. And Universal made the same announcement on the same day. And then...
And in fact, reports were that it seemed like it was kind of coordinated, right? Because people think they're bitter enemies, the two theme parks, right? And well, yeah, I was going to say SeaWorld, but they probably just laugh at them. But there's probably a lot of back channel kind of, especially through COVID like stuff. It's like, well, what are you guys going to do? I don't know. What are you doing?
They are
coordinate those things.
They're the leaders in Central Florida, right? I mean, they're within the community, and they employ the greatest number of people and everything else. So yes, there's absolutely a lot of communication between the two and coordination. So, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, it's good that they're trying to do the same thing at the same time, so that it's a consistent message.
And so what's the rule right now? So it was masks everywhere. This is
correct.
Where it was masks everywhere.
Correct.
They just, I think right after the last time we recorded, they changed it so you could take off your masks for pictures.
Yeah,
right?
that was exciting. I was thrilled about that.
And kind of unexpected, right? It wasn't tied to any sort of like a CDC announcement or anything like that. It just kind of popped up, right?
Well, in fact, right, just like maybe a week before that, they had really started enforcing or put a new rule in place or tweak the rule saying that even when you're sitting down in a restaurant, if you are not actively eating, you have to have a mask on, and they were going to enforce that. And so it was like, oh my goodness, they're getting even more stringent. And then like the next week, they came out and said, okay, you can take your mask off for photos. And it was like,
why?
That's different.
Because it's not enticing to see people's photos like on the
Tell me about
gram.
it.
Right. Well, and I think I went just before that somewhere, and I was like, I'm really not interested in taking any pictures because they're just of people wearing masks. Like, it doesn't look like anybody's smiling. They're all just kind of looking, your eyes.
Yeah.
And that's not good marketing. So for sure, they want.
Well,
hey,
and I'm sure it cut into sales of PhotoPass too.
Yeah, probably. I gotta complain about PhotoPass later.
Oh,
we'll talk about it.
We'll
get there. We'll get there.
All right.
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah. Hey, side question.
Oh, okay.
So since we're talking about photography and kind of like natural marketing of people's vacation photos, somewhere rattling around in the back of my head, I have it that the color of the pathways, that sort of rusty red kind of color, was specifically tweaked, tailored, chosen, whatever, because it showed up really good on Kodak film of the day, right? So we're talking, in the 70s, 80s.
Yes.
Is that something I just made up, or is that a real thing?
That
has it ever been like officially, is it an official thing, or people just kind of made up that myth?
Okay, so that part of the question is tough because when I was on the college program, that is what we were told. Now, the actual validity of that, I don't know. Mainly, and the reason I'm saying that is because Kodak wasn't the original sponsor.
Yeah, it's AGFA, right?
Yeah, AGFA, and then GAF. And then Polaroid.
I think AGFA and GAF merged it at one point.
Maybe. And then Polaroid.
Polaroid
and then
was?
Kodak. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I have guidebooks with Polaroid.
Oh,
You could rent a Polaroid camera.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like early 80s.
Yeah. Yes, it would have been late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember that kind of big push for Polaroid.
And then it was Kodak. So that's why I say I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I shouldn't say for Kodak. I mean, Kodak was kind of it was almost like saying Xerox back then, right? It was just like, that was just the de facto thing. But I'm saying tweaked for film technology because it showed up well. But I've never, I just kind of, it's one of those myths or trivia things that kind of kicks around. But I'm like, I don't know. But I mean, college program, I don't know. That's fairly substantial, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, can you do some research before next time? I'm really curious.
Yeah. Let me actually really write that down because you made me curious now.
Well, you'll hear it in the edit, and you can say, "Oh yeah, that's right." I gotta get that. I want to know. It's been around so long. It's like I don't know what else to equate it to, but it's one of those things. It's like it's just urban myth that just kind of got locked in and stayed. But there's got to be some origin to that. It's been around a long time.
It's odd, and we're still on this tangent, but. It's odd you say that because I thought about that the other day. Okay. Because in Epcot, they are replacing the concrete around Spaceship Earth.
The concrete around Spaceship Earth, okay.
And some is that the only? Oh no! And in Tomorrowland, they're replacing all the concrete in Tomorrowland too, to take up because Tomorrowland with the 94. They had gears on the ground, right? And so they're taking all that up, and they're just but the concrete they're laying down both by Spaceship Earth, which is Epcot's icon, right? Which you take a lot of pictures of, and in Tomorrowland is just gray. It's not the pinkish color. So
because I don't think by today's standards that color doesn't really show that well. I don't think with digital.
Yeah. So I actually thought about that, and so I'll do a little research, try to
substantiate,
find out something. Yeah.
All right, and we're still in the tangent part of the show. Is that right?
Sure. Why not?
Let's not call it a tangent. We'll call it a sorbet, a palate cleanser between the things. Because we were talking before we recorded, and I don't want to forget this conversation because I want to hear some things. And I said, well, let's talk about it after we hit record. So we were talking about the Starlight Cafe, Cosmic Rays. What's that thing called?
Yes, Cosmic Rays Starlight Cafe.
Yeah, okay, that's what it's called now. Anyway, we were looking at some vintage film from the archives, and you educated me that stage actually went up and down, right?
Yes,
where the Cosmic Ray is now, which real performers used to be, right? So tell me again why the stage went up and down. What was the purpose of a stage that went that rose and fell?
Because it was cool. It was futuristic, and so you would be eating there. You would be eating in the Tomorrowland Terrace, as it was known at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
And this was really through the 80s, through at least the mid 80s or so.
Okay.
And so you'd be sitting there eating, and all of a sudden the stage would rise, and you'd hear music first, and then you'd be like, oh wow, what is that? And it was, contemporary rock music and stuff, pop music, and then all of a sudden the stage would rise, and it's a live band, and they're
wait a minute, was it rising up from like below the ground?
Yeah.
Oh, like a Broadway show does when they do sets. I thought you just meant it was like a kiddie ride where it just started out like 2 feet above the ground floor and then went up to like 5 feet.
No.
Oh, it was like below the utilidors.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes more sense. Well, why didn't you say that? That makes more sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they would load up and get, and then when they were done with their set, it would lower.
Oh, okay.
And they would be dancing and all as they're lowering, and
with
then
their tambourines and the beads and everything.
100%. And then and then they would go into the break room, take their smoke, and
of whatever they're smoking in the 70s.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
Until the next show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, you didn't explain yourself right. Okay, so that's how they okay. I guess that wasn't working of my earliest memories of it, which would have been 84. Because I remember seeing performers there, but I don't remember them like magically appearing from below the ground.
Yeah.
But I can see that to people of the 70s, that was probably mind-blowing, right? Where did these people come from? The depths of the earth? This is Florida. There's no basements here. Oh, I get it. Oh, okay. So, well, that's pretty cool. All right, I'm on.
Of course it's cool.
Okay, I get that now. All right, but there was one other follow-up I wanted to do. So that we were talking about that, and you asked me about cosmic ray, and you said, what was your question? What was it? What was your wording?
I don't know anybody. Oh no, what did I say? I said I'm not really into.
Yeah, you asked me. You're like, are you into cosmic ray?
Yeah,
because I'm really not. Something like that, right? And I'm like, well, what does that mean? I mean, that's like I'm not. What does that mean? Like to be really into cosmic ray? Like you got all.
What's his name?
Tunes?
His name's not Cosmic Ray though.
No, it's not. Whatever.
What is it? Sunny Eclipse. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sunny
that
Eclipse.
Guy. Cosmic Ray's the dude that owns the place. Right?
Exactly. Right. It's his.
There's
joint.
got to be a whole backstory to that, right? I don't know what it is, but there's got to be a whole.
Oh, there's got to be. Sure.
Is Cosmic Ray like? Is he like a mob boss, and this is like his nightclub?
Yeah. It's like like in Purple Rain, he's the owner of First Avenue, and Sunny Eclipse is Prince, who comes in and plays. Right.
All roads lead to Prince in your world.
They really should. If they don't, they really should.
So that's a different podcast. So anyway, so you're asking me like, what, like, are you really into Sunny Eclipse, right? And I'm like, well, what is it like? Does he like? Have I seen him on tour? Do I have his T-shirts? Like, what? Who's really into Sunny Eclipse? That's what I'm asking. Like, what does that mean?
There are people who really enjoy Sunny Eclipse. Like they know his whole act. And
Hasn't
they
he been
go
doing the same 4 songs for
yes.
40 years or whatever, 30 years?
But just like people, still, as I'm finding out through Instagram, people still absolutely love the wand that was over Spaceship Earth.
Oh, those people. No, they're not humans.
People
who are those people?
Who love the Sorcerer's Hat in Hollywood Studios.
I'm one of those people.
So yeah, but because of why? Because of certain periods of your life.
Yeah, because it gets locked into. Yeah,
of course. Sure. So it's I've kind of given up on that, whether people are crazy or not, because
I just never knew like I know people are into like Baby Yoda, and so that they got Baby Yodas on their shirt, their Tervis or whatever.
Well, okay, nobody's
people walking around with
No, they're not that crazy,
Eclipse.
but they'll go and they'll want to go eat there and make sure that they can watch the show because they did that as kids and now they have their own kids or whatever.
Well, but that's just the same as any other. Okay.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
All right. That's just people aren't really into. Well, okay, whatever.
I
thought you meant they had like posters above their bed and stuff like that. Like,
although I don't know why Disney hasn't tapped that market. Like, why aren't there Sunny Eclipse plushes and shirts and everything else?
That's a great point, Glenn. Why isn't there? Yeah, phone cases. Why is there no phone case for me?
Right.
Sunny Eclipse ringtones that I could go buy. Do people
Thank
still
you.
pay for ringtones? Is that still a thing?
That's a great question. I
Remember those
hope not. Yeah.
That was a terrible time period, right? Like $2, weren't they expensive?
Yeah.
Ringtones. That was a big market though. I think literally billions of dollars, if not hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
Like it was huge money.
Well, that's what kind of bridged the music industry, right? Until like because that was really happening during
in terms of
Napster.
revenue, you mean?
Yeah.
Napster. Good
Right?
times. Good
Yeah,
times.
it was that same time period. And so I think that's what held the music industry together until Steve Jobs, started selling the music on, until he started selling music on iTunes. Like there was no, I think that's what that funded all the artists.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Yes, you're right. Because I remember during that time, they're like, do you know people are making more money off of ringtones than their album sales or whatever.
Oh,
then we started stealing ringtones and there went that. Those poor artists. How is Taylor Swift going to make it? That's what I worry about. Anyway,
really
all right.
know.
So Sunny Eclipse, he's still there, right? He's still a thing.
He's still there, yeah.
Yeah, we saw him. I have a picture from a couple years ago.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, because we were talking about Magic Kingdom, right? So
That's right.
All right.
Well,
Wait.
hold
No,
on,
okay.
hold on.
Hang on. I took a big U-turn. I'm sorry. So I don't even have any Coke Energy. Maybe that's the problem. So we're talking. I'm so sorry, people. So we were talking about COVID stuff,
Yes,
right? And they dropped the masks. They dropped the masks for the photos,
Right.
Because nobody wants to see. By the way, I almost did not like a photo of yours on Instagram because it was a picture. Yeah, because it was a picture of the beautiful spaceship Earth with that disgusting Epcot wand over it. And I'm like, I can't promote this.
Chris, let me tell you something, man.
No.
Those photos get people like those photos. It's
With the Epcot wand?
with the Epcot wand. Everybody,
but,
people
it's
comment.
nostalgia.
That's exactly what they're like.
Right.
Oh, I missed that. Oh, that was my first trip, or whatever. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, and unfortunately I have a ton of those pictures, and so I'm like, all right, well now I have an outlet to kind of get them out there.
Yeah, you took a bunch because you're like, well, this is limited. This thing is not going to be up here very long. I better get
Right.
I better get a lot of pictures of it.
It was only up 7 years, so that
It
quick
felt
time
longer.
period.
Felt longer. I had to explain nostalgia to my 9-year-old the other day, and I'm like, that didn't even occur. Like, it just seems like such a natural. What's the humor I'm trying to like to a 9-year-old? There is no nostalgia. Everything's today, right? It's
Right.
like it's no. So I had to explain because. Whatever, because we were talking. He noticed we were like every time we saw pictures when he was a little baby, we'd be like, "Aw," and he's like, "What? Aren't I cute anymore?" Like so. So I don't. Yeah, I mean,
You're a
you're
little
cute.
older. I mean,
Yeah, you get mouthy now.
that's why we keep having babies, because they're so cute. That's why we like kittens and puppies.
Damn evolution and its manipulation. Anyway, so nostalgia. So what were we talking about? So COVID. So masks, right? So they just out of nowhere they're like, okay, no more masks if you're taking a picture, but
And
you have to be taking a picture, right?
correct.
And you have to and that's the other thing. If you have to actively be eating in a restaurant, what is the legal definition of acting? Like, do I have to leave them? Like, think about it. Does the mask have to stay over until it's like what? 1 centimeter
Until the
from,
fry is about to hit the mask, then you have to remove it, and then and then take your hand away and put the mask on, and then start chewing.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to beat this system. I'm going to sell masks that have holes in them so that you can leave your mask on.
Chris, that's
and
brilliant.
Still eat.
That is brilliant. Why hasn't anybody thought of that?
I don't know, man, because I'm smart. That's
Oh my gosh.
I'm SMRT. So, all right, I'm going to work on that as soon as we're done here. Actually, early on in this pandemic, I think people did that, right? That was a thing.
Yes, people,
okay.
of course. They cut a hole so could put a straw.
That's fine. Anyway.
All right.
All right.
So anyway, so then
So
last week Universal and Disney dropped the social distancing to 3 feet, and then
because of the CDC though, that was
because
prompted by
it's
that,
all
right?
of course, it's all.
Well,
because of
the photo thing wasn't, but
no,
the other thing was.
yes,
So 3 feet, which is so they get to. They're like, oh, they're rubbing their hands together like Mr. Burns, and they're like, oh, we can put twice as many people in these lines,
that's
right?
100% correct. Yes,
Yep. It is 100%. It's a 100%
Yeah, it is.
increase.
that's right. That's right. So then, like 3 days later, they announced, literally overnight, they announced, hey, starting on the 15th, I think it was the 15th, you don't have to wear masks outside. And like, they didn't give their cast members any time to prepare or anything. It was on the 14th they announced it, and on the 15th it took effect. And so that's how it is now. So you don't have to wear masks while you're outside. You do have to wear them when you go inside in any queue. I don't know if that means inside or outside queue. I think if you're in a queue line and the queue's outside, I think you have to wear a mask.
No, I was going to ask that. Okay.
And then on the ride, on every ride, you have to wear the mask. So that's it as of 9:51 Central on May 20th. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? So,
but then the next step is the CDC then said, if you're vaccinated,
if you're fully vaccinated,
yeah. Is there any other kind? You're either you're vaccinated or you're not. No, there's not fully. It's like, pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. Vaccinated or not vaccinated. That's the way it works. Anyway, I'm fully vaccinated. Are you?
Yes, I am, of course.
Okay. Well, good. Good for you. So I read today we might have to get booster shots. That sounds fun.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah, whatever. So, but Disney has not yet changed rules because of that latest salvo from the CDC, right? Which was also a surprise from them. So they were like, wait, what? And this is where I think it gets thorny, right? Because it would be great if Disney could say, if there was some thing in place where you could show proof of vaccination, like you do other kinds of identification, right?
Right.
Here's an example. If I want to buy an alcoholic beverage,
yes.
Well, not anymore, because I don't ever have to show any ID because they're like,
well, yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, Gramps.
Yeah. You might be too old to be drinking, sir. Right. But if I want to buy alcohol at Disney, even in fact,
correct,
right? And if I'm borderline, like I might have been, half a century ago, then they could say, well, let me see your government issued proof of your age,
right,
as credential to do this, right?
Right.
So wouldn't it be nice? Can you imagine a world? Wouldn't it be nice where, hey, I can show you that I am vaccinated, fully vaccinated, as Glenn likes to say, so I don't need to wear my mask, right? And they give you a little pin or an armband, or I don't know what they do, tattoo something on your face that you don't have to wear a mask,
right?
But they can't do that. You know why?
No. Why is that, Chris?
They're not allowed to. Like even if they wanted to, even if you could weigh the merits of like, well, do they want to do that? And is that, what if half the party is vaccinated and the other half isn't, and blah, 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 right? But nope, not allowed to. Florida government said, nope, you cannot do that.
Right.
So, which is a shame. So where's it go from here, though? Where's it go with masks? Where do you think? Is there any rumbling off in the distance? Like
no, not right now.
When do we get to just go enjoy a day at the park again without a mask? When does that happen?
Hopefully before July. So I think, I really do think it's going to be tied to the rates, right? The rates within Orange County and Florida. I don't know if Florida's going to be included in there, but and then the vaccination rate just nationally, like what percentage of Americans have had their vaccination to, we probably won't hit the herd immunity, but if we get close and the cases drop, I think everybody's just going to drop everything and say, okay, guys, this is it. The vaccine's available. If you want it, get it. If you don't, and you catch COVID and you die, well, sorry, guys. We have and that's the difference right now, is that there is a vaccine that's widely available to anybody who wants it.
Well, no, not actually true. No. See, your family, you have everybody in the umbrellaed age group. Right. So you can get your full family vaccinated. Yes. Fully family, fully vaccinated. I, however, cannot, because I have kids under the age of 12.
Right.
So even if Disney said, and I don't think that they're going to have to do all or nothing because it'd be too messy otherwise, I think. They're going to have to say it's up to you if you want to be masked or not. But so my kids technically still have to wear masks because they're not vaccinated. And then I would feel too guilty if I'm like at Disney without a mask on and they have to wear theirs. So I'd probably wear mine. Yeah, but you're a cold-hearted, bastard.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
I have a heart. It doesn't work well, but I have one. And so anyway, so that's kind of the situation we're in. Is there, and who knows? There's no, even though I think it's been said, by the end of the year, they would probably release it for kids under 12. Who knows when that would be?
Yeah, I saw that today.
Probably not by July. But why do you keep saying July? Why is July important?
Well, because I have a trip planned.
You do?
I do.
That's awesome. Where are you going? Universal?
No, we're going to Disney.
Yeah, the company that you just, it's too expensive. They're terrible. Not as good as they used to be. I want to go again.
That's right.
That's about what I hear from you.
That's right.
So what's your plan in July? What you doing?
Gonna spend a week there.
Wow.
We're gonna stay in a condo. We're not rich, can't afford to stay on property, but
here we go.
And we will go to the parks for 7 days total.
Can you afford a tent? Because you could go camp.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
So I'm hitting my 60 days out. And do you want me to explain the pleasure that I'm having of trying to get dinner?
I love this new world of Disney where everything has to be planned in various windows beforehand. You have to get the park reservations and the dinner reservations, and some things are 90 days before and some things aren't. I love this system. This is great.
So in fairness, whether it's pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, whatever, getting reservations for dinner or for meals was always a hassle. And you always had to call or get online right when everything opened up in the morning. So it's the same thing for that. I did, I looked it up and if you go to Disney's site, it will tell you that reservations open up at 5:45 a.m. Eastern time for the day. I set my alarm for 4:40 a.m. Central time to wake up.
Did you really?
To make sure that I could, get online and be there and be ready for it. And so I'm sitting there refreshing, and 4:45 or 5:45 Eastern comes around. Nothing. I'm like, what is going on? So I'm like, all right. So I waited like 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, well, maybe, I don't know, glitches, because Disney's, their IT is just pitiful. And so nothing, but then at 5 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central, it opened. Okay, I get on, it opens up, it shows me everything that's available, and I'm trying for, the first day I'm trying for, Via Napoli for dinner. And so I'm like, okay. And it's not like you can just go and say, okay, Via Napoli, what do you have? No. You had to say how many guests you have first. Then you say, okay, what time? And then it gives you everything that's available for that time. And it's like, well, and then you have to scroll. And then that's when they give you filters. Yeah. And it's like, okay, so the Epcot. Yeah. So then it narrows it down. And it's like, and so I'm like, dinner, no Via Napoli. I'm like, what the? and so I'm going through all the time, and I found a lunch one. I just got a lunch one real quick. But I mean, it is, and so I started to realize, I'm like, oh, so I guess the resort guests, I think they get once their 60 days start, just like fast passes, right? Once your 60 days out starts, you can book restaurant reservations for your entire stay, which is 61, 62, 63 days out. So they're getting those reservations, whereas people who just have annual passes or, normal tickets have to do it each 60 days out. So by the time I go, it's even more limited than it already was. So anyway, so the first day I got it. So the next day I tried for was Hollywood Studios Day, and I want to go to the cantina, and they have nothing. Yeah, as soon as it opened up, I'm on there. Not the entire day. I'm like, oh, you're killing me, man. So I have one more shot at Hollywood Studios. Now, the other thing too is, as Disney's policies and everything, because right now all of the restaurants are still social distance how they were. They haven't changed anything in the restaurants. So the capacity in the restaurants is still very limited. As we move forward and, hopefully, they start to shrink that and increase the capacity in the restaurants, more availability will open up. So I'm going to keep trying and see what I can get, within the next 60 days or so. So it's I don't like this game. It's
no fun, and
it's
like
not.
everything is so what's the word I'm looking for? Not restricted, whatever. It's just like, it's no fun. You're like clawing for, like, where's you're just walking around. Oh, let's go into the restaurant in Italy because we're here at this time. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm an old man. I guess I'm an old man, Glenn, but where's the serendipity, huh? Where's the I'm not even trying to be funny.
I know.
It's like, where's
there's no spontaneity at all.
You go.
In your trip, you have to plan everything. And I probably just,
but not just plan it, because I don't mind planning. I mean, you and I have talked before. We've had spreadsheets of like
sure.
what order going on the rides. I mean, I don't mind that. It's just you got to fight.
Yep.
These faceless other people that are also fighting to get the reservation for the day, and if you don't, you feel, because then the problem is, if you can't get that, then you feel like you've lost. And then I don't know about you. I'm pretty sure I know you. But then that whole day, if you can't get to the cantina, what are you going to be thinking about all day long?
Cantina.
Couldn't
exactly.
get to. Yeah. So it's like, it's an anchor on your fun, on your voyage.
Yeah. So you mentioned park reservations, which you love, but let me tell you my horror story about it is we were planning on going. I had gotten the condo for the first week in June, right after kids got out of school.
Do you do that through Airbnb?
No, VRBO.
Okay, it's the same idea.
Yeah, same type of thing.
Okay.
So I had the condo and everything, but I didn't buy the tickets, and because we're waiting to see something with my daughter with school and the summer and stuff like that, and so we're just trying to figure out timing. And then once it cleared up a little bit, it was like, so I went to buy the tickets, and the first thing you do is, okay, make sure you have park reservations are open. And that week, when I went 60 days out, there was Hollywood Studios was not available the entire week. So it was like, well, okay, I'm planning a trip. I'm going to spend $2,000 on tickets to give you money to go to your parks, and you're telling me that's not even an option. I can't go to at least one of your parks the entire trip I'm there. So I had to push it back to where it is now. And it was the first week, I think, that all of the parks were open. And so yeah, I'm not, I had my run-in with the reservation system. Now, of course, it's a fluid situation, and they did ultimately, because of, them increasing capacity and everything else. When I tried to buy the tickets, it was pretty locked down. I don't know if they were just holding back capacity or whatever, but it was before Chapek had just announced that they're going to increase capacity. And so they had opened it up, and there was more availability. And it's like, man, talk about, it's like you're gambling. It's like you're in Vegas. It's like, what, when do I buy the tickets? Will there be availability or not? And it's a, I was just about to curse there. I'm sorry. It's
your show. You do whatever you want.
It's not a fun game to play, and it really messed us up. And it ticked me off, man.
Yeah, and so much depends on, assuming they're going to stay with it for a while, and maybe another night we can debate whether we think they will. But assuming they stay with this kind of situation, if we end up in a spot where it's a rarity to not be able to get a reservation for a park, then okay, it's not so bad. And in some ways, maybe it'll save me from myself, because like we were thinking about going the Friday before Memorial Day, right? Now the Friday before
Sure.
Memorial Day, it's a holiday weekend, but it's the Friday before. It shouldn't be that busy. I tried 2 weeks ago. I haven't all of May. I haven't been able to get any, for any park on the 28th of this month, which really it really upsets me because I'm like, why do I have this annual pass that I'm spending over $200 a month on? $260, whatever it is. And you've argued with me before to say, well, if you get to some park, you're getting your annual pass for it. But no, I'm not because,
No, I'm not arguing with you. That's Disney's take.
Well, no. Well, okay. You took their side, but
I didn't. No, I was explaining Disney's side. Okay. I didn't take Disney's side.
I can't tell the difference. You're like one and the same to me. Anyway, it just, but, so part of me, I try to keep myself from getting too angry, but what was I saying? But maybe it does save me from myself because maybe I would have a miserable time going on the Friday before Memorial Day because if it's that crowded, well, I'm not going to have that great a time. So in some ways in the end, it's going to depend on how difficult it is to get there, but it just seems like everything is so difficult, right?
Yep.
And it was one thing because, gosh, going way back, it was the only thing you had to worry about was like the resort, especially if you're going to stay on property. It's like, well, right. I hope there's a room at the Contemporary that's in a price range that I can afford, right? And then it was like, well, I hope it's on the side of the hotel that I want facing the park and not the the bay side. But now it's everything. It's like, well, now can I even get into the park on a day, right?
Yeah,
and all the way down to that. So anyway, I hear you. And as a local, I think it's even more problematic because there's so many times, and I would imagine you remember when you lived here, where like on a Tuesday, you'd be looking at the weather and go, it's supposed to be a nice weekend. We should go out to the park this weekend, right? Spend a day out there. But now it's like, well, now let's check and see if we can. And so far, every time we've done that, it hasn't been there.
Yeah.
But we're trying to go more often. I'm kind of not going for a year is kind of, made me more interested in going, at least for now, until it gets super hot and crowded again.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, what do you want to cover next? Does that cover you for your July? So you so far, sounds like you haven't been able to get anything for what you wanted other than your park days.
No, I got the one. So I have another day to try the Cantina that comes up in a couple days, and then I have two more, one in Epcot and one in the Magic Kingdom that I'm going to try to get. So yeah, I have a couple more that I'm going to try. And so I did look ahead, like if pretending today was those days for those two restaurants I'm looking for. And it looks like they have availability. So I'm like, all right, it'll probably be a little easier. They're not that in demand.
It's not the Cantina. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one in Italy, Napoli, Via Napoli. What is it
Via
called?
Napoli, yes.
Yeah, Via Napoli. That one's hard to get into, huh?
It is always hard to get into. Yeah.
But it wasn't before because they redid that a few years ago, right?
It opened in like 2007 or something like that.
Oh, well, gosh. All right.
But it's been the same since it opened.
Oh, I feel like it was done more recently, but whatever. Regardless,
they built so where Alfredo's was.
That's what I'm thinking.
Right next to it, that's I forget what it is now, but yeah, they redid that one.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. But you told me once how good the pizza was at Via Napoli.
Yeah.
And now I've been all over the world. I've been to Italy. I spent a lot of time in New York. I have what I think is probably the best Italian food one could probably have. And I'm like, Glenn, it's pizza. It's Epcot. Like, how good is it going to be? But you know what? One time I ended up getting it there, and you're right. It's pretty damn good.
I believe they import the water from somewhere in the Northeast to get
Flint, Michigan. I think I read.
Yeah, exactly. Flint, Michigan. No, I want to say, I don't think it's New York, but I think it's like Philly or somewhere.
There is something about there's something about the water.
Because it's the right pH or whatever. Yeah. And so, they do a good job. It's not Pizza Rizzo or whatever that's called.
Oh, God, that was so bad. So bad.
So, no, this is legit.
But you know where I got that pizza? The only way that I got that pizza was it was just one of those rare moments where they had that little quick serve window open.
Yeah.
Which is almost never the case. Like we've gone back 8 times since then and it's never been open.
Yep.
So somehow I can never figure out what their logic is for when that's available or not. But we did that one time. And it was yummy. It was really good.
Yeah, and they have these appetizers that are, man, I'm gonna get the name, arancini balls or something, but it's basically risotto that's deep fried, risotto balls that are deep fried, and oh my god, they're so good.
You know, I can't even count the number of times that you've said something is so good and you started with, it's whatever deep fried.
Well, did you know that things that are deep fried are really good?
And it's covered in powdered sugar after that. It's really good.
Even their salad, like they have like
okay. Now we're onto the salad.
Well, no, because last time we went, we got like a family. They have the family salad or something, and everybody, like my kids don't really care about salad, but they like that salad. It was like, oh, yeah, they do a good job.
They have unlimited breadsticks like Olive Garden.
They do not have unlimited breadsticks.
See, it's too bad. So now I want to get into that place. I don't think I'm going to be there the same week that you are, just by coincidence.
What?
I know, it's crazy. And
it actually was coincidence. Like I'm horning in on Chris's. Chris had made his reservations first. So
is that how it went?
Yeah.
All right, whatever. I just always assume I follow you.
No.
But I'm only there for 3 days. Staying at the Wilderness Lodge. I'm so excited about it because we haven't. It's only 3 days, two nights. 3 nights, 3 nights. But we haven't stayed at a Disney resort, I don't think, since my kids have been born. So almost a decade. Yeah, almost a decade. And because it just never seemed worthwhile yet. And and so my oldest is 9 now. He's never seen the fun, like he sees them from the monorail or wherever. But we're gonna stay at the Wilderness Lodge. I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome.
Do you remember? Did they have bunk beds? I seem to remember them having bunk beds, but their pictures these days don't show it. Do you know?
No, not that I know of. I mean, Fort Wilderness does, but
yeah,
so
Fort Wilderness does, right?
Yeah, you may be thinking
cabins.
of the cabins.
No. But I'll ask.
I don't remember bunk beds at the Wilderness Lodge. It doesn't mean that they didn't have them.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to that. I think. I mean, I'm hoping there's a little more mask dropping, so to speak, before then. And I'm not sure, like, I don't think the restaurants are open in the resorts yet, are they? Well, at that point, will they be?
At that point, sure. I mean, I'm hoping that everything, what I'm hoping is by the time we go, even if they still have the mask mandate inside, I can kind of deal with that. But I want... Columbia Harbor House is still closed. Like there's still restaurants closed in the parks. They need to open all of that up.
All of my favorites are closed.
Casey's is closed. The ice cream store across the street is closed still.
Is it? Oh, I didn't even check this time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's all still closed, and it's like, well, come on, man, open that up.
Yeah,
so
why is it still closed? That's not right. Why are those closed?
Dude, you tell me. I don't know.
Don't they want the money from people buying ice cream?
Well, you would think,
right?
Maybe because it's close quarters in there, and
but they can control that. Like they have somebody at the door with the little
but then where the line is down the main street. And
have you seen the lines they do now? Like, what difference would it make? The line for Starbucks was down Main Street.
Yeah, that's true. I guess.
So
Yeah, I don't know, man. So that's what I'm saying. I hope by the time we get to go there, all of that is open. Like I said, I'll deal with the masks inside if I have to at that point, but just open everything back up.
Yeah, I was about to say 2 months isn't that far away, but this stuff changes fast.
It changes really fast.
Who knows? A lot can change by then.
I will say, the one thing I hope they do keep is the cavalcades.
Cavalcade? Is that even a word? What?
Yeah. So okay.
We'll
get into it in a second because you just went to the Magic Kingdom, right?
I did. It was fun. We went for Mother's Day.
Okay. So instead of parades, they have they call them cavalcades, and they send like one float down, and it's nice because it's like continuous throughout the day. There's always something going, and so you don't have to wait in line. Wait for the 3:00 parade with throngs of people.
Yeah.
This is just a nice little refreshing, there's a float with characters on it. Let's stop and watch. It goes by, and then that's it. And then 5 minutes later, here come the princesses. So it's really, I would really like them to keep that and not have the parade anymore.
But you know what? That's like the modern equivalent of the olden days where they would just walk through the park, right? There'd just be a little random sighting of, a character.
Yeah.
Before they would get mobbed.
Right.
Did your family ever do autograph books?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how it happens, but we were, and we'll talk about my trip in a second, I guess, but we were there and, my son's like, hey Dad, after the pandemic, maybe we can get autograph books and get autographs. I'm like, we have never once in his entire life talked about autograph books. It's never like, like we don't have them. Like, what does Disney market this to the little kids that I didn't even notice? Like what would attract, because I wouldn't have done that. When you were a kid, did you care about autograph books? Did you?
I had an autograph book. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm in the wrong company, I guess. It just doesn't appeal. Like, I mean, they're not.
As a kid, you don't, it's like, hey, it's an
people.
interaction that you can have because you can't talk to them, right? I
Yes,
mean, you can, but all they can answer is yes or no. I mean, like they can't really answer the kids and like, so there's no real verbal communication. So what do you do? So this is a perfect thing that they can, can you sign my book? And then they can sign the book. And so I think that's the appeal of it.
And collecting. You're a big collector guy, so I could see where you.
Yeah, but I mean, I was 9, like
it doesn't matter. It's in the blood.
Well, that's true. But
right. Well, hey, can we talk about Magic Kingdom? Because I'm starting to remember my trip now, and I got thoughts.
So let's hear about your trip.
All right, cue the trip report thing.
And now, a trip report from Chris on Chris's Disney Adventures.
We ready to go now?
Now we're ready. Yes.
Okay, good. So let's see. The uninteresting stuff. I never feel like you need to ask me questions because I hate to do just like it. And then we did this, and then we did this because that's boring to people. I think I don't know what people want to hear.
All right. So when did you get?
But I'll just give my thoughts. So this was for Mother's Day.
Okay.
It was a big weekend. It was my wife's birthday and Mother's Day back to back. So we were like, let's do something. We hadn't done anything for a year. Well, let's go out. I don't think we've ever gone to the park on Mother's Day before. Didn't know how crowded it would be, but it's like, seems like it's just as crowded every day now because the park capacity thing. So it was like a Sunday. For my family, we got up early. For your family, it would have been like midday. But we got there. I think we walked through the gates at like 9:45ish.
Okay.
Something like that, which for us is kind of early. I think it opened at 8 that day, so it wasn't super early. Nothing to think it. We did the ferry because I didn't feel right being in the monorail. Just kind of like, I don't know, felt a little too enclosed for me.
Okay.
Still doing masks, right? Like we just talked about, so we had to do that. Yeah, I don't think anything. I got stopped at security again because I always do with the.
Good. I'm glad they're doing their job.
I didn't even stop. I just walked right to the.
Right. What do
I
you want
didn't
to
even
see?
wait for them to tell me. I'm like, family, you guys go through. I'm just gonna walk right to the table and show them my.
I did that once accidentally. Like I think I just yeah. Because in my mind I'm like, okay, well I had to go to this thing, and they were like, okay, we'll check you, but we didn't call you over.
You were going to. Let's be honest. You were going
right.
to. So I did that, which I don't mind the new setup. I used to hate. I still hate, and I've said it every time. I'll say it again. I still hate. I'm sorry, Walt, but I still hate the layers of the onion you got to peel off to get into the stupid park. I know. They need to. Why aren't they operating trams? They need to operate trams again.
That's a great question. I don't understand that one.
They're outdoors, right? I mean, and you could make them every other row if you really wanted to do that. Like, why aren't they operating them? Well, I mean, I know why, and you know why, and that's not a good enough answer. Which is because they're saving money. And
of course,
no, they need to bring the trams back. That is a long walk
from the Magic Kingdom parking lot. That is a long walk. Absolutely.
But it was pretty empty. So I mean, we're pulling in. We're like, oh, well, because you can always tell like the sections they fill up to get an idea of how crowd's going to be. So it wasn't so bad early on. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I'm not doing this in order, but that's the whole getting there shenanigans. We did the ferry, which was really nice, I think. And you had told me about it before I'd seen it, but they have the little markers on the ferry where you have to like you found, which I'm like, can you keep this? Can this be a thing like forever?
Right.
Because I like having like this is my family's square. Get out of my square. This is my square. My family's square right here.
Let me tell you something. If you told me that, like, if we had to keep one thing from all this, the social distancing was really nice.
Yeah. Well,
like,
to a point. Yeah.
Well, give me the 6 feet of space before ahead of me and behind me, and I'm good. Like I can deal with that.
Yeah. But I'll be honest. I don't think people were really abiding. And this was just days before. But stop it. But so I didn't. I mean, a little bit. I guess it wasn't quite as crowded as it wasn't as jammed as it would be normally. But people were ignoring. Even my own party, I had to keep saying, "See the line on the ground. See the line. Stand by the line."
I thought it was fun. It was like a game. Like, ooh.
Yeah. Well, it's a little twisted, but all right, whatever. Yeah. No judgment. Anyway, so yeah, getting into the park, no big deal. It was kind of neat when we walked in. I don't know if this falls under your cavalcade umbrella, but we're walking in, everybody's like looking up at the train station. We're like, what's happening? What's going on? And you know me, I like to, just much like movies where I don't like to see trailers, I like to stay kind of somewhat ignorant so I can still be surprised by stuff that happens. So they had all the characters out on the train station balcony thing up there, kind of waving everybody. I'm like, oh, it was kind of neat. So that was nice. They should keep that. It was kind of cool.
They should.
And Mickey, I was surprised. I don't know why this surprised me. Mickey and Minnie were in their, what do you call it? Like confetti garb? Yeah. They have like, that they wear in one of the parades. So I don't know why they were wearing that, but they were. Is it because it's the birthday year? Like what's going on with that?
Well, I'm going to say this and I'm probably going to be wrong, but I believe that they get there by way of the cavalcade. So it comes from Frontierland, ends on Main Street, and they stop at the train station. The characters get off, go up to the train station, wave for a little while and interact with everybody, and then they go backstage. So I think that's how they get there, and that's why they're up there.
Gotcha. Okay. So I was, I don't know why, but I was kind of intrigued. It was neat. It was weird that there was a sign, on Main Street of the times, the ride wait times. Mm-hmm. I don't know how long that's been there, but I remember the big board that used to be next to Casey's. Mm-hmm. And I used to like that. Remember the olden days? It used to be like chalk, right? They'd be together and they'd actually like chalk write the wait times. It seems so quaint and, old fashioned now, like Morse code or something. But now they have like a digital sign over by the ice cream place, right? I know you know.
Yeah, it's on the other side of it.
You watch video feeds 24/7, so I can't tell you anything you don't know. No, I can tell you this that you don't know. So I was ready, and I'm like, all right, we're on Main Street, and I remembered that now we can do pictures without masks on. So I'm like, great, I'm an annual pass holder, gold level. Thank you very much, because gold level, I get what? I get PhotoPass, right?
That's right. Sure.
So I'm going to take advantage of this. So I'm like, let's go down Main Street. Let's find the place. And I'm turning around and I'm like, okay, where is the PhotoPass photographer? On Main Street, right? This is not like backwaters, like the back of Toontown Fair or whatever it's called today, right? This is Main Street.
Right.
And Glenn, can you believe there was no PhotoPass, are those the right syllables? PhotoPass photographer up until you got to the hub. They had somebody up by like the partner statue, like kind of across from that, but nobody on Main Street. I wanted it like Mother's Day, family picture, whatever.
Sure.
Nope. Nobody there.
Wow.
Nope. So I didn't get to enjoy that. But anyway, once we get past that disappointment, we're like, well, what should we do? And checking the ride times, I use the fabulous Disney World app. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's an experience. It is an experience.
It's an experience.
Using that My Disney Experience. Has anybody else made that joke? That's pretty good. But it was functional, and I got to see the wait times, and they were all remarkably low.
Cool.
My bellwether is always Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Because that's always pegged at 90 minutes on an average thing. And you were about to say something, Peter Pan?
Yes, that used to be true. but not now. Like it has one of the shortest waits because they're not using the full queue.
Yeah. So we're looking at it, and it's my wife's favorite ride. And we were there for Mother's Day. So we're like, what should we do? She's like, we know I love Peter Pan. I'm like, yeah, but there's no way. I mean, there's no FastPass. So I can't get FastPass. But I checked the wait time, and it was like 10, 15 minutes. I'm like, well, let's go.
Yeah. So
went and did that. Felt like a win because we were like, that was super short. And so
sure.
You're going to have to explain that queue thing to me in a second. I'm assuming it's just because there, and it seemed kind of empty is the wrong word, but it seemed low attendance so far. My theory is that because it was Mother's Day, in the morning it wasn't that busy. It got much busier by the time noon rolled around. So I think probably Mother's Day people did the brunches or whatever, whatever they do. Right. But it worked out for us. So we got good took advantage of the of it not being too crowded. So we did Peter Pan, and then we're there. We figure let's go in Small World. So the party is just reminders, me and my wife and my 9-year-old and my 5-year-old, right? Just to give you an idea. So finding stuff that's fun for them. So we were kind of bebopped around Fantasyland for a little bit, did the carousel. My 9-year-old's now at the age where he's like, I don't want to do the carousel. Like that's too, babyish for him. I'm like, people love the carousel. Get on. So we made him ride it. Yeah, you better get on there. So we did that. They enjoyed that, and that wasn't much of a wait. So at this point, like everything is like, and it's hard for me to get my bearings because I'm used to these things being like, okay, well, Peter Pan is 90 minutes at least, and Small World used to always be walk on, but then it seems like it's always half an hour for some stupid reason. But I think,
Because of FastPass.
No, but there's no FastPass. So
well, not now. Right.
I know. Well, I'm judging by now. So this is, and there's too many variables for me to figure this out. But I felt a little bit to me like we were back in a pre-FastPass world, and I liked it, Glenn, because I think it's smoothed out. Now it's hard to say because you got all the cues with the COVID and the distancing and the whatever. But it felt like these wait times and just the balance of wait time, not the actual maybe pure numeric value of it, but just like this ride's wait times compared to this ride's wait time, right? Mm-hmm. Felt kind of like, so I'm really curious, assuming that FastPass is not coming back, which we all kind of think that, right? Is that kind of where the world is at?
I think everybody is expecting that it'll come back as a paid product.
Oh, as a paid. Wow.
Yeah.
But haven't they started to even like take out some of the FastPass stuff, or did I imagine that somewhere?
They covered. No, you're right. I mean, they covered up some of the signs. And that was the big one. Was this? I think the Safari. They covered up the sign. It was like, oh my God, they're getting. They're really serious. They're getting rid of FastPass and all. And it was just that one sign.
But if now they govern. If their dial is for overall attendance to the park, I don't know, something tells me like they don't need that secondary tier anymore.
Right.
I don't know why. I haven't thought that fully through, but that's kind of just roughly what I feel about it. And so everything else was like, we did teacups. That was like a 10-minute wait. And so, I mean, everything was pretty low wait for most of the morning. I was almost going to go on the mine train while I'm looking at the app. It was like a 30-minute wait. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you guys could go do something for 30 minutes while I go, because I would have been the only one that went on it. While I was looking at the app, it went up to like 65 minutes. I'm like, nope. Yeah, we just went over my threshold. So no thanks.
Yeah.
So almost got there. So anyway, so it was like if you charted out the wait times or attendance, it was like, from whatever time I said I got there, from 9:45 for the next 3 hours, it was pretty low, and then all of a sudden it all spiked up really high. So I think everybody kind of got there, early afternoonish. So we did Fantasyland stuff. We were going to do Tomorrowland, but then decided we really wanted some Dole Whips because it was really getting hot at that point, and masks were terrible. And so we did we go all the way over? I guess we did. We went all the way over to Adventureland, got us some Dole Whips. That was nice. Which is, it was a little weird to like, well, I guess it's not an issue now because you don't have to worry about it if you're outside. But I'm like, okay, we have Dole Whips. We're outside. I need to take off my mask to eat, but then I got to go throw this thing at the garbage can that's across the walkway. Am I going to get yelled at because I don't have my, anyway, it's very complicated. But I didn't end up in Disney jail, so it was okay. We did a couple more rides. We did the Aladdin Dumbo, whatever that thing's called. I was shocked how many shops are still closed. Like even that one that you would think would always do great business, which is that one that's on the corner by the Dole Whips. I don't know what its name is. You know what I mean? They got all the Arabian stuff.
Oh yeah, that right.
You know, I think they even have like a meet and greet there in the olden times. Yeah, we didn't stay too long, so we stayed like 3 or 4 hours, and we're like, okay, you know, we'd all had it's the masks and the crowds were kind of like, it got to that point where we're like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Nobody wanted to do tiki birds. I didn't get to do that. I shouldn't say nobody wanted to. There's just other things we want to do instead. And then we just started heading back out, kind of wandered around. Like I said, I mentioned that line at Starbucks. That was kind of shocking to see. Lines. So, yeah, I don't like these outside lines. It makes the park feel and it was kind of weird to see like wait times be really low, but it feel crowded. And I'm like, this is weird. Why does it feel so crowded when wait times are real low? And I realized because all the lines are outside. So all the people that would normally have been sucked up into the buildings were all outside, making it feel more crowded, which I didn't like. Anyway,
but the lines move. Like it's
they did.
It's not
we noticed that with Peter Pan. We were
Yeah.
we were kind of shocked with Peter Pan because it was like I said, it was like 10 or 15 minutes, whatever it was. And we got there, and, you know, because I'm stupid, I'm like, well, okay, let's walk over. So we walked to the main part of Peter Pan, and I'm like, oh, okay, there's the line. So we're like, okay, let's find the end of the line. We're walking some more, and we're going around down the hill, and we're going around. I'm like, wow, that line is still going, and my wife was like, well, let's not wait for them. So I'm like, no, it says the wait is only 15 minutes. I reminded her that the lines are outside and all that. But the end of the line was past Harbor House.
Yeah.
Was where, and I don't, gosh, if it were any longer than that, I don't know where it would go after that. Like,
well, they route it through Columbia Harbor House.
Oh, right.
If it gets too long.
Me that.
Because that's closed still.
Yeah, I know. Okay, that explains why they were, because they had some cast members kind of posted there, and I'm like, well, what are you doing? And the restaurant's not open. I guess that's if they'd have to start routing it through or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we caught it right before they started doing that. But you're right, it moved super fast. So it really was. It was 15 minutes to go from there, and there's a little bit of an inside queue, not much. Which I'd never seen. I'd never seen the redone inside queue because we've only ever fast passed it. Yeah, it's kind of neat.
It is
the little bedroom scene and all that. So
yeah,
so that was fun.
Well, I'm sure it's off right now, but the bedroom scene where the bed is, it's a cool thing when there's actually a line in there and you're waiting forever. They project like bells and stuff, and kids can. With the shadows, and you can do it, and they ring and they move, and it's a cool effect.
Oh no, that wasn't
Yeah.
Gosh, now I feel like I missed something. But that bride's, I don't care. It's not worth waiting an hour and a half for that, right?
No.
Which is what it always is. And if you chart the wait time for it, it's always just pegs it an hour and a half, and that's it.
Yeah.
So we didn't stay till we got to a point where, like, you know what, we'll have more fun at this point if we head home and just kind of relax a little bit and enjoy the rest of our Mother's Day afternoon. So that was it. It was nice to get back, and then it was like, okay, well, let's go again. And we started out, well, let's go maybe the Friday before Memorial Day, and then I told you that sad story that we can't get that. So we're all back into the park frame of mind now.
Great. I'm really happy to hear that. I actually told Tammy that. I said I think they caught the bug again, which is awesome. Do
you think we lost it? I mean, do you think?
Yeah, man. Come on,
really?
you live right there, and I went more than you did in the last 2-3 years.
Certainly during COVID, but just because of mask mandates, with my youngest and his special needs, we didn't know if he would keep, we didn't know if he would keep his mask on, and just didn't know if we wanted to go through that fight. But I don't know, the year before that, maybe. I was there with you at Star Wars, and that was fun.
Yeah, I know, but it's not like you were going every weekend.
No.
And,
but that's not. But well,
you
I was going to say
it's like a roller coaster, but
a lot of it depends on time of year.
Yeah, sure.
And other stuff. But yeah, no,
I'm not saying anything bad. I'm glad you're,
yeah.
like I said, catching the bug again and wanting to go more and more.
A lot of it had to do with my youngest has hit like prime age now. So, I mean, you remember what it was when your kids were young and you had to do like the strollers and all the stuff. And you're just like, either that or we could just sit by the pool at home. And,
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it was kind of more of that, just like life stuff being kind of before that. But now we're kind of like we're in that vein, and not only the parks, but should I mention also booked a cruise. I'm really gambling on COVID going away. So it's not for a year yet, 350 something days, but
which ship?
The Fantasy again.
I didn't know if it was the what's the new one? The Wish.
The Wish.
Is that the new one? Yeah.
No, which we're going for a special occasion. Not allowed to say numbers. We're going for a special occasion. Somebody's big birthday next year, and so the Wish doesn't start sailing until summer. They don't have an exact date yet because it's just summer 2022.
Yeah.
We're going to go more this time of year, like in May. So I was surprised to see that when I was looking at the Wish itineraries. It's going to be 3 and 4. Like it's going to be the shorter jaunts for the Wish, which surprised me.
Well, it seems like that's what that was a pattern when the Fantasy and Dream came online. Was they replaced the Magic and Wonder and let the Magic and Wonder go off to Europe and Alaska and everything else, and then they were doing the shorter ones to Castaway Cay and. So I'm guessing the Fantasy and Dream will now branch out, and the Wish will be the one for the quick, because you can get more trips, more people on there.
You need 2 of them though. And I might be misremembering it, but I thought when the Fantasy came out first, it replaced the Magic for the longer cruises first.
Yeah. And
then when the Dream came out, it replaced Wonder to do the shorter ones, and then the Wonder went off to do its other stuff. I think it was in that order. Right. So I kind of expected Wish was going to come out of the gate doing the 7-night ones, and then whatever the one after the Wish is would do the 3-4 night ones. But they're starting whatever. Not that it matters, but it just we were going to go. We wanted to do it. It wouldn't matter. It wasn't sailing by that time anyway. But anywho, so fully on the Disney train, bus, tram, monorail, whatever. Oh, monorail. I forgot to mention that. So on the way back, because I'm like, well, let's do the monorail because it's not as crowded as we're leaving, because it wasn't like closing time or anything. And I actually thought it was pretty cool how to, what am I trying to say? I didn't do any research, so I didn't know what the setup was with the monorail. And then we just got there and they're like, how many? We told him. He's like, all right, 7 and 8. And we're like, okay, we'll go to 7 and 8. And it wasn't until we walked on that I realized they actually have it like almost like these little mini compartments in the monorail. Like, you know what I mean?
It looks cool, yeah.
It's kind of like it's not, but it's kind of like, like trains have like sleeper cars kind of thing, like it's like segmented within the car. It's kind of like that kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
So at first we were like, what are we doing? And then we realized we're like, oh, I kind of like this. It's like, get away from me, other people.
So that's like another thing.
This is my spot. Get out of my spot.
That's another thing. Can we keep that? Because that would be really nice.
It was really, and it looked a little janky. Like the plastic looked a little like they did this kind of quick, but
is it like frosted or something?
It is. It's like that.
Okay.
I'm sure some plastics expert will write in and tell us what the name is, but it's like that plastic that's like that milky kind of translucent kind of thing. Yeah. I think I have a picture of one of my shots has it in there, but it's that kind of plastic, plexiglass, whatever. It's almost the kind of thing like they make cutting boards out of, that kind of stuff. It's kind of like that. But it was nice. It's like, wow. It felt like a private car, like in the monorail. So
I mean, it would kill efficiency, but let's keep it.
That's their problem.
If you're paying as much as you pay to go there, let's
it really
all
does
the luxury you can get.
I mean, I like that, we live here, we get the benefit of being able to pay monthly, but man, every time I see that, I'm like, oh, because it's like
a car payment, man.
Well, don't get me started on that. I'm paying for 2 cars that have mostly sat in our garage for a year, but but I see, I'm like, all right, I'm like, family, we're going to Disney.
Yeah.
Every time.
I mean, it's a
every time I
great
see the bill.
motivator.
It is.
Jesus.
But I'm glad I renewed because I've talked to two other people so far that were sad that they didn't renew their passes and now can't get them. So I'm happy I have them, which seems kind of stupid. I'm like, hey, I'm happy to get to pay Disney every month.
Well, I'll be honest. I was, with this trip coming up, I was thinking about it. I mean, and it's a fortune for me, but once you're in there, once you do it, once you buy it and you go over, I think it's like 9 or 10 days, whatever it is, to break even. So if you have a couple trips planned, right. But once you buy that first round, then the renewals, you get such a discount on the renewals that that's how they keep you in there. And so, because it's like, oh shoot, man, then next time I'm going to buy, it's going to be an extra $500, and it's like,
right.
That's a lot of money. So, but I was thinking, I'm like, well, if they're available, I might try to do it because I'd like to make some other trips, here and there, especially with the 50th anniversary coming up. Mm-hmm. I've actually already taken off work around the October 1st. Just, I'm like, maybe on a whim we'll want to go. But
no, there's no whims anymore. It's got to be fully planned a half a year ahead of time.
Well, the Magic Kingdom is blocked out for October 1st. It's been blocked out for like 3 months now.
Insane.
As soon as they open it up, it booked up.
I'm sure. To what?
So, so I was thinking about annual passes. There's a rumor that they're going to start annual pass sales back up August 16th.
That's kind of a specific rumor.
It is, right?
Okay.
I believe that is because they had a statement and they mentioned that date, and that is usually essentially the end of Florida schools are back in by August 16th.
Right.
So it's kind of the
end of summer.
Unofficial end of summer.
Yeah, right.
Especially for annual pass, Florida
for locals,
annual pass holders. So they think that is because of, I forget what statement it was. They mentioned August 16th. And it's like, oh,
well, they
that's
just had
probably
their shareholders meeting or something, right? So
yeah. So
or something.
So, in the next few months, they should start back up again.
So they're going to have annual passes right at the end of summer when the locals don't need them anymore, or not as much.
Yeah, but if you're a local, you can, go on the weekends. And
yeah, but people use them way more during summer here than
they do
during school year.
They're still trying to control.
I know
stuff.
You don't know because you're not local, but
they're trying to control things still. They don't want to open the floodgates just yet.
Yeah, I get it. But what difference does it make? Take everybody. Well, other than people being angry, but take all the annual pass money and if there's park.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Then
sure,
I would.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no guarantees, but sure.
Right. No kidding. I mean, you're absolutely right. Why wouldn't you start it now?
Just angry customers, probably. Seriously, because if you sold annual passes to a lot of people and they could never get dates, like I was complaining about, then you'd be like, I want a refund it. No.
Yep.
Anyway, so
at Disneyland, it doesn't look like their annual pass is ever coming back. They're going to have
which is bizarre. We've been talking a long time, so we should probably save that one. But I don't understand. So you can think about it and maybe draw some pictures for me for next time. But I don't understand why it's such. I get it. I know that it's different clientele and different resort, but I don't understand why it's such a dynamic difference in annual passes between the two places.
Oh well, yeah, okay.
No, I mean, well, whatever. It seems like almost on the surface, Disneyland would want to have annual passes more. It'd be a better thing.
But it was, sure. They did.
And they Disneyland.
Yeah, Disneyland. And they literally had millions. They sold millions and millions of annual passes.
Right.
And the parks don't have that kind of capacity. So they ended up, the last few years, they raised the annual pass to like almost $1,000 per annual pass just to try to price people out. But it didn't matter. And so that's why they ended it. And now they're going to have a loyalty program. So they'll give discounts for, I guess, the more you go, or it'll be like a club where you're part of the club, and part of that, you get discounts on tickets or something like that.
I'm just going to join Club 33 and be done with it.
That's what you need to do.
That seems like a good use of fun.
Please do. And take me as a guest.
I have to charge you.
That's fine.
It's like charging for staying at the White House. How much does that cost again? It's like in the... If you could even get it.
Oh my God. It's like $20,000 for like the initiation or something. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know what the annual fee is, but
you got that kind of money.
Okay.
It's just money. Huh. Yeah. So now I guess you're right. I'm more interested in going now. At least until it gets blazing.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you. It'd be nice to see you in July.
I know. Because we actually have a date that overlaps.
we have a date. What do you mean? Oh, at one of the parks? Yeah, and that's the other thing is like we
Magic
have to
Kingdom.
coordinate which park and the blah, blah, blah.
And we didn't even coordinate. It was just luck of the draw. It was like, hey.
Magic Kingdom, day 3, I think, for me.
Yeah, I think for you, it's our first day at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
We're doing 2 days at each park except for Animal Kingdom. We're doing 1 day. And we're going to split it with Disney Springs.
So really, we're going to drive through the parking lot and head back out.
That's kind of what it's going to be, yeah.
Look, kids. Big Ben, Parliament.
Nice.
Yeah, just for you, man.
You get a thumbs up for that one.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for letting me. Is there more? What else you got?
So you wanted me to remind you about hats?
Oh, no, not to remind me. Just, no. Just
okay,
consider this like a PSA. All right? This is a PSA. So, and I know you'll just roll your eyes and whatever, Chris. But so, like you normally wear like a baseball cap at the park, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And it may be in my advanced age as an octogenarian, but the sun, like, you would think living here all these years, and, I've spent most of my life in the South in one way or another. Like, you'd think, like, I would be immune to the sun's effects. But I have learned in my advanced age that no, the sun is not our friend. It is an angry enemy that's looking to make your life as miserable as possible, right?
Yes.
So I love baseball caps. I really love baseball caps. I love most of the ones I have with the flat brim and the label still on them. Those are my favorites. I put them a little to the side. Those are, but I love baseball caps. But there's a fundamental flaw with baseball caps from a shade perspective. Do you know what that is, Glenn?
They don't shade the back of your neck
or the sides of your
the
head.
side, your ears.
So basically, you get a little bit of shade over your eyes. Which, if you think about it, these were hats that were devised for baseball players to be able to see the ball. They had nothing to do with actual shading yourself from the sun, right?
Right.
So I don't remember what. No, I know how this started. This started because I was at Epcot one day and it was really hot, and I'm like, we were going through like, where that Africa area is, and they've got like safari looking Indiana Jones hats things there, and I'm like, you know what, I'm hot, and my ears are burning, my neck, whatever. I'm gonna get one of these cool hats, and so it wasn't the best hat for me. It didn't look the best on me, but man, having a brim that goes all the way around your head like that, it makes a huge difference, Glenn. So I just wanted to have this PSA to say, if anybody wants to consider having a full brimmed hat, it makes a huge, like, it was, the sun was beating down, but it wasn't so bad, right? So I've since ordered like a bunch of different hats because I love hats, but they all look terrible on me. But at this last one, I'm like, you know what? I don't even care because I enjoyed my time. And that's really the point of my rambling on, to not just be funny about it. I enjoyed my time there much more because I wasn't fighting the sun and the crowds and and taking care of my kids and whatever. So it was just, it was nice to just have that. So that's my PSA, people. Consider brims on your hats. Don't just wear baseball caps out of style. And women are smart. They know. They always had the big floppy hats, like at the beach and stuff. It's more than just style. It's more comfortable. So I've got a new hat that I'm gonna like, and it's these little floppy ear hat things. They work great for photography because you can just like bend, like with a baseball cap. I'd always have to like turn it around or something so it wouldn't bump the camera. But these just like flap up out of the way or whatever. Really nice. You should consider one. Yeah, and that's exactly the look I knew I was going to get.
As I just bought a case of Starport 75 baseball caps. You know,
can wear them.
that's cool.
You can,
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
what are you going to do? You going to go up on the terrace at the train station and just throw them out? Like, you know,
No,
who wants a hat?
No. You're gonna get one.
So you say.
know, some special guests I'm gonna send them out, and so you know.
Listen, I'm just saying.
gifts.
Well, here's the other thing: the kind of hats that I found, and they're really like they're like fisherman's hats, right? It's kind of
I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
Sure.
So, and what I like about it is it folded up really tiny to go in my camera bag, and so I just had it in there until I was ready to use it, and it just it's like whatever. So anyway. It's my advice to you. It's a hat. A brimmed hat. And it goes all the way around.
Thanks.
Whatever. That's all I want to say. You can cut that whole bit out. That's just my PSA for anybody. Anybody that's listening.
That's valid.
I forgot all about that. Thanks for bringing that up. All right. That's all I got. That is truly, that is scraping the bottom.
I mean, it's only been 3 years since we had the logo. I finally get hats, and now you're saying, oh.
You don't, it can, oh my God, you can change. Like, that's the nice thing about hats. You can actually, unlike your pants, you could take them off in the middle of the park and switch hats, and nobody's going to say anything. Ask me how I know that. So, right. Got it? Awesome. That's a show. Oh, you're sleepy. You need more Coke energy.
I am sleepy. Sorry. I know. If that's the problem. No Coke energy.
What were you drinking? Looked like you were drinking Coke energy.
I was drinking Dr. Pepper Cherry Zero sugar.
Glenn.
Hey man.
Paul Welch III.
I am trying to count calories.
That stuff is nasty. Then
it is nasty, but the cherry makes it a little bit better.
Oh my God.
Actually, it's not that bad. The Dr. Pepper, it tastes like cherry Dr. Pepper.
Didn't you and I just talk about a new Coke thing?
Yeah, the Coke coffee.
No. I mean something Disney related. Something. The floor of the new Coke experience or whatever they're going to call that thing.
Club Cool.
Is it still going to be Club Cool?
Yep.
That was kind of cool. So the floor. So back to like floors and colors of things, whatever. It's the Coke red and whatever, and they actually have little shavings pieces of Coke bottles and cans and stuff. Right? Is that what you showed me?
Yep.
We put that in the show notes for the folks. That was kind of cool. It was kind of neat. And it was really cool because like it'd be something that if you just walked over it, it doesn't just smack you in the face. Like it's like it's kind of subtle what it is. You have to, but you look at it really close. It was kind of neat.
It's the details.
It's the detail. I don't know what it was about seeing that because that felt like Disney of old to me, where like those really fine, where current Disney will just throw up a giant monstrosity in the middle of the lagoon in Epcot, and I'm like, well, whatever, it's fine. But that's like real attention to detail, and it was a neat thing, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, you got homework. You got to go find about the color of the walkways.
I know.
All right. Cool. Well, it was fun chatting with you.
All right. Yeah.
All right, 2 more months and you'll be here.
That's right.
We'll do a live show as you throw out hats to everybody. Hey, when's the train supposed to be back? I missed the train.
Oh, that's a great question. I wish everything was up and running by the time I get there.
Well, of course.
I miss the train so much, but I don't know with Tron. Tron was supposed to be open for the October 1st, and
it's dependent on that.
It's not. So
they can't just leave the train shut down the whole time. Stop.
Want to bet?
Well, they could. It's theirs, I guess. But I miss it.
I don't know.
It's parked at the station, so it's like
Well, since there have been sightings of them working on the track because they're replacing the actual track, and they're taking up the wood. What is that?
There's a word for those. What are those called? I don't know. The whole audience right now is telling us.
Or whatever. I know, right? So they're replacing the ties. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
They're replacing those with, not plastic, but sustainable ones that aren't wood, because they'll last longer.
I was going to say I don't think it has to do with sustainability.
No, it's not sustainable.
It has to do with
it's
lower maintenance costs. Yeah,
probably
some sort of like a composite something or other. Blah blah blah. Right.
So they're replacing all of those. I think along the whole track, but definitely by Tomorrowland. since it's, they're doing the work
all
there.
ripped
But
up. Yeah.
they saw, they're doing that. And so since they've stopped work on Tron, that maybe they will open the train back up. And, whenever they start working on it again, they can just, they should be done because it should be on the outside of the berm and outside of the track. So hopefully when it opens, it'll just stay open. But they'll hopefully, I would love for it to be open this summer.
Yep. Doesn't look likely, but
no, I know.
Hey, speaking of transportation, can I? One other thing I've been meaning to tell you time and time again, and I keep forgetting. So you remember last time I talked about going to the park? I went to the Animal Kingdom, right?
Yeah.
And you remember in the past I've complained about the no-fly zone over Disney and how fake that is, and it made me angry that I couldn't fly my drone because I live right next to Disney World. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
I've since worked that out, by the way. They have a whole new system. Did I talk about this here? I don't remember.
Not
a whole
here,
new system
but
with the drones where you can kind of like request temporary access, and you're just like, and I guess depending on, it's just a little bitty rinky-dink drone. They don't care. So, but mostly I've been like, it's stupid. It doesn't even cover all of Disney World. It just covers, Magic Kingdom and pretty much all of Epcot. However, Mr. Welch, so I was at Animal Kingdom that time, a few months back. And do you know, we were there and I noted how disturbing may be too strong. How it wasn't a good vibe to have so many helicopters constantly going over the park, right? And I'm like, it was frequently enough that my son even mentioned it to me. He's like, these helicopters keep flying over the park. And I'm looking at it like, you know what? He's right. And I realized if that were going on over the Magic Kingdom, that would suck.
Yeah.
So I'm now pro no-fly zone over Disney World. How's that?
Yeah. No, I
Have you ever noticed that? Like, did it ever detract your enjoyment to have these? And I think also part of it is because, like, maybe if it were Epcot, it wouldn't bother me so much because it's more sort of urbanish. But you're supposed to be in Africa and Asia, and these clearly not bush level helicopters, whatever, are flying. Right. You know what I mean? Just kind of like it pierced the veil, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think I mean, I haven't been to Animal Kingdom in 3 or 4 years, so I don't think and when I'm there, I don't think I noticed it, or maybe it wasn't that bad at the time. Yeah. But that certainly would be annoying. I mean, even when there's a Skyrider and you can read it, it's like it just takes you out of the magic. Yeah. Because it's like, you say, oh, Jesus. Oh, okay, that's cool, but
he saves. I want to know who's paying for those, by the way. I see them all the time.
Like,
it's the same Skyrider. Somebody's paying for that. Yeah, but I mean, imagine you're at, and I don't remember, like, surely it was this way before they did the no-fly zone, but, like, imagine if there were, there's going to be banner planes flying over, like, Eat It Fridays on International Drive or whatever.
Yeah, and that's what they used to have.
Right. Well, it was like Church Street Station, right? That was the big.
That's right.
Those were the big banners that would go over.
Yep.
So anyway, I've like many politicians, I have shifted my position on that issue. So just wanted to share that. That was it.
Cool.
That and hats.
Yeah.
That's all I got. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Your Coke energy's wearing off, so we should go.
All right.
All right. See you, man. Next time.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Starport 75. Follow Chris on Twitter and Instagram at CBGray, and Glenn on Twitter and Instagram at DizWiz. Follow the show on Twitter and Facebook at Starport75 and Instagram at TheStarport75. For all things related to the show, including show notes and links to connect with us, visit us at starport75.com.